What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome into a Tuesday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book, BVB as we call it. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube and X at Boston versus the Book. We're replayed on Sports Grid TV, 10 p.m. Pacific time each and every weeknight, and we're replayed, well, not really replayed, but the audio podcast always available right after the show is over, wherever you guys get your audio podcast. Thank you to the Brigade for being here. We have a lot to get to on the program. Monday Night Football last night. We have a new derangement syndrome that we have to now talk about. It is New York Giant media derangement syndrome. They now are trying to litigate intent. They're now trying to tell us that legal hits are actually illegal hits and that code reds were ordered on Jackson Dart because he's so scary that the 11-2 Patriots had to take him out because if Jackson Dart played, the Giants would have been actually a good team. Besides the fact that he hasn't won a road game yet, but okay, let's talk about Jackson Dart being the next coming of, Peyton Manning. Okay. We're going to have some fun with the Giant media today. It's Tuesday. That means my top five teams in the NFL. We do the rankings after we wrap up a week. Week 13 ended last night, so we'll get to the 5 teams ranked 1 to 5. And then we'll get to the conference championship games today in college football. I'm not doing them all. I'll do the big ones. We'll take a look at it from a betting perspective. We'll take a look at it from a college football playoff impact as to how that's going to go. And news of the industry, Missouri. Hi. What an opening day for Missouri. Huge day. Huge handle yesterday as the Show Me State does exactly that. When it came to the sports betting legalization launch, pretty darn impressive. If you guys live in Missouri or around Missouri, good job yesterday. You guys came out full bore, both barrels being fired on all sorts of things, college football, college basketball, obviously last night with the Monday Night Football game. We start the show with a quick update as to what's going on, because if you missed the show yesterday, we did announce that we have a store finally. The store can be found on our website, thebvbshow.com. Go to the website, direct link to go to the store. We are almost 50% sold out of the Dave Sharapan collection. Okay. There's 150 items, 50 hats, 50 t-shirts, and 50 hoodies that are currently for sale. And well, not anymore, but that's how many we put up. So we've already sold nearly half in about 3 days. We launched it on Black Friday softly on the Discord channel, and then yesterday on the show, obviously. So if you have not gone to the store to buy your BVB stuff, hat, t-shirt, whatever it might be, or if you are interested in the Dave Sharapan collection, okay, the always forward, never straight Dave Sharapan shirts, hat, and hoodies, you probably should do that at some point in the next couple of days, because we're going to be most likely sold out by the end of the week if this trend continues. So these t-shirts, these hats, and these hoodies, once they are gone, they are gone. So it's Cyber Monday yesterday. Today is Travel Tuesday. I don't know if you guys tried to buy our airfare today. I tried. The airline that I was trying to buy the flights was the website was crashing so much that I wanted to I couldn't do it. I had to stop. I'll do it after the show. Hopefully the flights I want are still there, but we'll see. Everyone is trying to buy flights today, but you have a limited time, I think, to get involved with this, to get it. Now, the generic hats, the generic shirts, the generic hoodies, and golf polos, and the, bucket hats, all that stuff will still be there after the 150 are gone. But we are taking the proceeds, all the profits from that first 150 always forward, never straight sale, and we're going to gift that to the Sharapan girls for Christmas from us in the Brigade on behalf of Dave, as to that's what he would give his daughters at Christmas. He would give them a cash gift. That was always his gift to his kids. So we're going to do that for the Sharapans here at Christmas. Obviously their first Christmas without Dave. So if you've not gone to the store yet, thebvbshow.com, go do it, go shop, go check it out. The Dave collection is up and there available for you guys to jump onto it if you would like to do that for us. So thank you in advance for doing that. Already love to see it. Almost sold out halfway halfway there from being half sold out. We're just a couple items short, but it'll go quick. So we thought by the first week we might wind up selling out, but we'll see what happens. The store is fire. I agree. Corbin did a tremendous job. He really did. He built it really, really well. So yeah, there are bucket hats. there are bucket hats there going in. You're currently blowing snow, Sports Avenger. Be careful, okay? We don't want any accidents. Be careful. Appreciate you. Thank you for doing it. 1 hour north of Pittsburgh, 3 to 5 inches of snow. Oh my. Yeah, it's that time of the year, right? That big storm that came through, completely smacked the Midwest. And now it's getting into the Northeast today and tomorrow, snow days and all sorts of things going on. So it is a weather football week. So definitely be watching if you are going to be betting football games. Although Thursday game is indoor and most of the college football championship games are indoors. Sunday games could be impacted a bit though, but the weather should be out of there by Sunday. So we shouldn't have too big of a worry, but Green Bay is going to be cold for the Packers game, Packers Bears. That's going to be outdoors and cold. We'll take a look at some of the other ones later on as we roll through, but Tuesday, NFL top 5. Let's get into it. Always fun to get lists. I like lists. It's been bouncing around. Another change at the top, for me at least, with my number 1 team. All right, opening line for us here today, and it's Tuesday, so that means we get into the top 5 teams in the NFL following what happened with the Patriots and the Giants yesterday, wrapping up week 13 of the NFL. We'll start with number 5, and I'm a believer now. I bet against the Bears. I had them losing and I thought they'd get blown out, frankly, against the Eagles. I was dead wrong, completely and totally dead wrong. Bears are a story. The Bears are going to be a problem. Ben Johnson, the running attack for the Bears. What does that look like? Oh, right. The Lions for the last couple of years. No big surprise. Bears got one. Caleb Williams is playing incredibly well in his second year. Now, Drake May is playing better than he is, but Caleb Williams, him and Drake are friends. Him and Drake are going back and forth, and they're cheering each other on. It's kind of a cool thing that if it somehow wound up being the Patriots and the Bears in the Super Bowl, like it's 1985 all over again, that would be fun with Caleb Williams and Drake May, being friends and kind of talking and cheering on each other from afar. So, but I'm not the only one that likes the Bears. I'm not sure I like it. I like the Bears this much, but one bettor came in and bet 50,000 on the Bears to win the Super Bowl, 66-1 odds. It's pretty good odds. 3.3 million. 3.3 mil if the Bears. Hell of a hedge opportunity too. All the Bears have to do really is get to the NFC Championship game, and then you can start hedging off of it, right? I mean, if you got 50 dimes to spend, you got 50 dimes to hedge. So you can start hedging as you go. But if the Bears make the Super Bowl, that's a hell of a hedge opportunity at 66-1. I mean, I've got some flexibility. I got the Seahawks at 14-1. So I've got a decent flexible spot with Seattle. Took the Patriots last night at 11-1. So I got the Patriots and Seattle. If they played each other, that would be tremendous. But that would be, I wouldn't have to need to hedge, just kick my heels up and see which team winds up winning. Obviously cheering for the Patriots. This hat, by the way, this hat might be older than some of you in the brigade. I'm going to, this hat is 22 years old. I'm guessing this hat is older than somebody in the brigade, in the audience. This hat is older than they are. This shirt is 11 years old. But it's just a reminder to Giants fans in terms of, we got so much gear. We got so much gear that we got to get pulled out of the back of the closet. 22-year-old hat, 11-year-old t-shirt. I got all sorts of stuff dating back. That's how long we've been good, New York. More on them in a second. But anyways, back to the Bears. Yes, Chicago, I'm with you guys. I'm with you on this. You guys are good. First appearance in the top 5. I got you guys at the top 5 here for what happened yesterday or on Sunday. Or Friday, rather. Big win for you guys. Little mini bye for you guys going to the Packers. You are 6.5-point dogs to Green Bay this week on the road, by the way. Matt LaFleur's numbers tomorrow will do a lot on this game, but Matt LaFleur's numbers are ridiculous at home. in December. The guy does not lose at Lambeau in December. He doesn't cover either, though. He's not great against the number, but he just wins. Period. So hard to see the Bears winning this weekend. So this might be a short-lived appearance in the top 5. But number 5 for top 5 teams, I'm taking the Bears. Number 4, Broncos. I just can't trust Bo Nix. They would be higher. They probably should be higher than 4. But I have them at 4. If you look at what Yahoo Sports has put out for their top 5, they have the Broncos at 3. I have the Broncos at 4. I flip the Patriots and the Broncos. Why? Bo Nix. I just can't. And they know it. I mean, the Broncos have a lot to prove. At 10-2, they're great. They have the best defense. But I can't trust Bo Nix at the moment if the Broncos have to go on the road. I don't trust them. Now, the players would be very quick to circle the wagons, and whether it be Adam Trutman or other people would be very quick to tell me that I'm an idiot, that I'm a moron, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that they are all in on Bo Nix, and that's fine. But again, I talked to a lot of people, okay? I got a lot of people that I was texting with people last night, and those people in the football world, not really in the gambling world, but in the football world, and the people that go and evaluate talent and evaluate quarterbacks and evaluate the offenses being run in the NFL, the opinion they have of Bo Nix is basically Bo Nix is really good at the end of either half because he's seeing very vanilla defenses. And so he's able to rally, much like what happened with the Giants game in the fourth quarter. When Bo Nix has a very easy to read defense, Bo Nix can dink and dunk his way down the field. But when you start to throw complex defenses, and if the Broncos don't go hurry up and they're going to huddle up and let the defenses make substitutions, the defensive coordinators in the postseason are going to make Bo Nix a liability. He's going to make mistakes. So number 4, I can't trust Bo Nix, but they're still a top 5 team. They still have the best defense. And if they have the 1 seed, the Patriots, I don't believe can go and beat Denver in Denver. I don't believe that's possible. So the Patriots hopefully get the 1 seed. The Broncos have a very difficult schedule, or a more difficult schedule than the Patriots. They play here in Vegas this coming week against the Raiders. That's a W, but then they play the Chiefs later and the Chargers later. And there's some difficult games coming up here for the Broncos, not so much for the Patriots, where if by somehow, some way, as the Pats go to number 3 on my top 5 lists, from 5 to 3, now being 11-2 and 10 straight wins, the Bills and the Patriots game after the bye week is a hat and t-shirt game. That was a phrase that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick coined because they won the division so many times that they needed some like fun thing for when they won the division. It was called a hat and t-shirt game. The Bills Patriots game is a hat and t-shirt game for New England. It is less important if somehow Joe Burrow could beat the Bills this weekend. If Joe Burrow goes to Buffalo and if the Bills lose to Burrow and company, which they're going to get Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the field together, most likely, depending on the concussion for T. Higgins, but he might play. You've got a Burrow offense that just beat the Ravens, and now they go to Buffalo. If they beat the Bills, the Patriots, that game really doesn't matter. The Patriots will need like one more win against anybody to clinch the division. But let's say the Bills do beat the Bengals. If the Patriots, who have 2 weeks now to prepare for that game, 2 weeks to beat Josh Allen at home, if the Patriots beat Josh Allen at home, they will clinch the AFC East. The next week, they play at Baltimore. If the Patriots clinch the East, which is like in week 15, if they clinch the AFC East, I would be a little concerned. I would be. I'm going to be concerned about that game against the Ravens. That's the ultimate letdown of letdown spots. Like you're on the road against a desperate team. They have to win it. Patriots very well might lose that game, and that could cost them, depending on what the Broncos do, that could cost them the number 1 seed. If the Patriots have the number 1 seed, I got an email this morning. I potentially am headed to San Francisco for the Super Bowl. If the Patriots, I have never been at Radio Row with my team in the game. I don't even know. I don't even know what I would do. That would be, I don't know. I would be, I would probably be decked out, in my full bore Dave Sherapan tribute gear. Like, I will wear everything Patriots I can find. I will be top to bottom every day. Patriots, everything, hoodies, t-shirts. I guess you can't really wear shorts in San Francisco, but anything and everything. I will be all about it, completely and totally all about it. Put it this way. If the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, I will do the one thing that we have never made. We have never made BVB custom Air Force One shoes. And you can do it here in Vegas. And my daughter and I have talked about it for a long time. And Dave and I talked about it for a long time about if the show ever got picked up by a major broadcasting network, how Dave and I were going to celebrate that was by going to this store here in Vegas that they do custom Air Force Ones. We were going to make BVB custom Air Force Ones. If the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, I will have those shoes made and I will be wearing those shoes in San Francisco. We'll find a way to put always forward, never straight somewhere on the shoe. So Dave's with us in San Francisco. So we'll see how this plays out, but that's on the radar. That's on the potential. So are the Patriots potentially making the Super Bowl. More on the Patriots-Giants game coming up here and what happened last night. Number 2. Wait, did I put that up? No, hold on. Where is that? Oh, there we go. Patriots were the first team in NFL history with 10 straight games scoring 23 or more points and allowing 23 or fewer points in a single season. In case you are curious about the numbers and what the Patriots are doing and the dominant nature of this team, I mean, so much fun. So much fun last night. More on the Giants game in a second, but the Patriots, sorry, Will, smacked the shit out of the Giants yesterday. That was old school. I'm wearing this hat because this is the type of football the Patriots were known for in 2003 when they beat the Panthers for their second title. Ferocious defense, pounding special teams. Every time you turned a corner, you didn't want to see a Patriot defender coming at you. You didn't want to see a special teams guy coming at you. They were cracking guys' helmets last night. I mean, it was awesome to watch. And I mean, it couldn't have been perfect. I got the TV delivered, so I'm watching I'm watching that game on an 85-inch television set. I was like, I was in heaven last night. I was absolutely in heaven watching that game last night. Number 2, and you could flip-flop. This could be 1A and 1B, okay? And some people are going to get mad at me because I have the Rams at number 2, and you're going to say, wait a minute, the Rams beat the Seahawks head-to-head, so how do you have Seattle number 1 and have the Rams number 2? The reason is Matthew Stafford outside is a big concern. Like, the Rams might have the 1 seed. That's possible, but they might not. They might not have the 1 seed. And Seattle might very well win the division. And if the Rams have to go on the road, I don't trust Matthew Stafford. We saw it last year in the postseason against the Eagles. When they're in a dome, fine. But the Rams, they go to Carolina, and it wasn't even bad weather in Carolina, and yet they turned the football over. They gave up 31 points. I'm just struggling to go, yeah, I'm going to back the Rams and say they're the best team in football when they just lost 31-28. They were leading in the fourth quarter. They lose that game to the Panthers, who, fine, are playing hard and are a much different team at home. They beat, the Falcons 31-0 at home. I'll give that to you. But the Rams losing outdoors just reminded me and everybody else about Matthew Stafford and the fact that Matthew Stafford outside is a liability. In weather, in December, January, February, he's a liability. And the Patriots and Drake May do what they do on Monday night. And we talked about it with Raheem Palmer yesterday from The Ringer. Look at the odds this morning. They flipped. Drake May is minus 125 to win the MVP. Matthew Stafford is plus 130. Now, it's a 2-horse race. There's only 2 options. Okay, both Stafford and May are way ahead. But Drake May, before the game yesterday, Drake May was way behind Matthew Stafford in that race in terms of the odds. Now Drake May is totally leapfrogged, and he's the only option where you're paying juice right now. Everybody else is plus money, including Stafford at plus 130. So him being outside, that's a worry. It's a concern. And I don't know how you don't look at that and say, I'm not in love with Stafford outside. Just not in love with Stafford outside. So, for that, again, 1A, 1B, and you can sit there and say, here we go. Seattle, I do have a 14-1 ticket on them to win it all. Okay. So maybe I'm a little biased, but this Seahawks team has played really, really well. And this Seahawks team has a chance to do some big things. I mean, they have that rematch against the Rams, which is going to be huge. They got a game this week, which is going to be really important for them. But if you look at the playoff picture at the moment, Bears are the 1 seed, Rams are 2. I mean, Seattle is 9-3 because of the fact that they don't lead their division. They play at Atlanta coming up here. Seahawks are laying 7 points on the road. We'll do it tomorrow more, but take a look at Mike McDonald's record in the Eastern time zone and in the early window, the 1 o'clock Eastern time window. Look what Mike McDonald's record is against the spread. It's stupid. I'm laying the 7 points with Seattle this week. Another reason why I like them here as the top team in football. I think they go on the road. They can win on the road. They're better on the road than they are at home under Mike McDonald. Why? I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that, but just keep on betting it. In particular, when they play in the Eastern time zone, just keep on betting it. Seattle is an auto play on the East Coast, whoever they're playing. Laying points, taking points, doesn't matter. Take Seattle. I like Seattle this week up against Atlanta. And look, they're not right now the 1 seed, but they could be. When the division, it's possible. We got a lot of things to shake out here in the NFC playoff picture. Green Bay is 8-3-1. San Francisco is 9-4. Seattle is 9-3. Those are your wild card teams, by the way. Okay. Bucks are 7-5. They play the Saints this week. The Eagles are 8-4. They play at the Chargers on Monday Night Football, which is a massive game for both the Chargers and the Eagles. After the Eagles lost to the Bears on Black Friday, huge. Rams are playing the Cardinals. They have pretty much dominated, but the Rams were considered to be the team to beat for the 1 seed. Well, the Athletics simulator has it now as a 38% chance for the Rams to be the 1 seed. So for Seattle, you win this week at Atlanta, and then you have the game against the Rams. You know what's in front of you. You know you have a chance. You know you have a real opportunity here to jump in. So, yeah, that would be kind of funny. Seattle should play at 10 a.m. That'd be cool, to go ahead and play at 10 a.m. It would be neat to see if that were to happen. So, yeah. I mean, this is a good point. MVPs don't get sacked 8 times in a game. Yeah. I mean, look, if you like, and I thought Raheem made a good point yesterday. So look, if you like Matthew Stafford to win the MVP, if you liked it before the game for the Patriots against the Giants, that you probably should wait, see what happens with Drake May against the Giants, and then take the plus and double down on Matthew Stafford. I don't think that's a horrible thing to do. If Stafford this week goes out there and throws for 5 touchdowns and they light up the scoreboard, he'll be right back to the favorite. And I think there is something to be said about the narrative about how long Matthew Stafford has played in the NFL without winning an MVP. Matthew Stafford has a championship on his hand, but he doesn't have an MVP on his mantle. So I think there is a thought of second-year player Drake May. Yes, the second year has been good for players like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So you don't say that he can't win it. Drake May can't win the MVP. He can. And the louder that those chants by the Patriot fans of MVP rain down on Drake May, the louder that it does influence the voting public, the voters. But I think the voters want to give it to Matthew Stafford. If they can justify giving it to Matthew Stafford, they're going to give it to Matthew Stafford. So just be careful. I think on that, I think that's a hard thing to look at. That's difficult for the MVP voting. because it is human beings. So if you're going to bet on that market, I don't bet those markets. I don't like betting those markets. It's kind of like the Cy Young. I don't like betting on those markets because human beings do weird things and they don't do what they're supposed to do. Even though the numbers are there, if there's a narrative that they can play with, they will use that. And I think there is a Matthew Stafford narrative for him to win the MVP. So I would be careful coming up with that. So number 5, the Bears. Number 4, the Broncos. Number 3, the Patriots. Number 2, the Rams. And number 1, the Seattle Seahawks. But again, you could interchange Seattle and LA for 1A and 1B. I have Seattle after their dominant performance and their victory last week versus the Rams' loss on the road. That for me puts Seattle number 1, and I like my 14-1 ticket on Seattle. Let's talk about last night's Monday Night Football game. I got a lot to say about what Giants fans are saying. All right, let's get into this because I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at some of the public takes from people who get paid for their opinions. And I understand that in today's world, the way you get attention is by saying the most outlandish and stupid shit that you can possibly throw at the wall. Sorry, Will. But this game was a clown show for the Giants. An absolute clown show. I mean, their kicker kicks the ball or kicks the ground before he gets to the ball. Like, this was funny. If Emmanuel Clase is going to jail, then Young Ho Koo is right behind him. Have you guys ever seen that? Have you ever seen a kicker kick the ground? It almost looked intentional. Almost. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but it almost looked intentional that the kicker kicked the ground. Like, how do you kick the ground? And then Jackson Dart gets sent on the ride of rides. He gets absolutely decked on a legal hit inbounds, and the Giants react. Instead of yelling at their quarterback to slide or to get down or to commend their quarterback for taking the hit, they instead injured their team even more by causing a personal foul penalty by losing their shit and going after the Patriot player who made a completely clean hit. A completely clean hit. Look, someone needs to remind Giant fans that Jackson Dart knows what he's doing. Like, Jackson Dart is aware of this. Just part of the game. He's been told in the draft process, there was video that came out this morning. In the draft process, he was told by John Gruden that, hey, in the NFL, you're going to have to learn to slide. You're going to have to learn to slide. And if you don't, you're going to be banged up. You're going to get hurt. Concussions are the least of your worries, really, at least for the short term. Long term, they're significant. But you can't get hit the way he's getting hit. In the first quarter, he slid really late. And the Patriot, I forget which defender came flying over the top, but he made contact with his head, but he didn't smack him. But it was a hard hit. And it was scary because the Giants, and you heard the broadcast team of Troy Aikman and Joe Buck say, this is the worry with Jackson Dart, that Jackson Dart is not sliding and he needs to slide. Will he learn? We don't know, but everyone's telling him, you have to slide, you have to slide, you have to slide, and he's not listening. So the Patriots know this. The Patriot linebackers know this. And if the kid's not going to slide and you can take a crack at the quarterback in the NFL, light his ass up. I don't care who it is. If it's Mahomes, if it's Josh Allen, if it's Drake May, I don't care. But these candy-ass New York people are so soft and they're so annoyed that the Patriots did what the Giants could not do. They took a bad franchise and they flipped it in 2 years. How long have the Giants sucked? They've sucked so bad, they need Eli Manning and the helmet catch in the pregame show just to talk about something positive. because there's nothing else positive to talk about the Giants. They've already fired their coach. They need a new head coach. They've got 3 quarterbacks. Do they even have one? I'm not sure. Their 2 best players are hurt in their running back who broke his ankle and their wide receiver who's going to have to come back from an ACL injury who might not be the same player that he was before the knee injury because, look, Stephon Diggs looks good at times, but Stephon Diggs is not the same player. He's great, but not the same. He's good. He's a B-plus wide receiver, but he was an A-plus wide receiver before the knee injury. So what does Malik Neighbors look like going forward? So now, after all of this, this is the type of garbage that's being put out right now by these New York-based media, saying that the Patriots would have delivered a hit on Jackson Dart even if he was stepping out of bounds. So now we can determine intent, that because the hit was legal and the quarterback was in the field of play, he would have hit him anyway. Why? Cheap shot, dirty play, lost a lot of respect just now for Mike Vrabel. Taking Jackson Dart out of the ball game was clearly communicated to his team before this game. All of a sudden, Pat Boyle, whoever the hell you are, I've never heard of you before today, but whoever the hell you are, you're now in the Patriot locker room. You're now in the Patriot locker room saying that the Patriots ordered a code red on Jackson Dart, a guy who has never won a road game. He's never won a road game in his NFL career. And we're going to go and say that Jackson Dart is the number 1 guy. We got to take him out because, we've won 9 games in a row and we're 10-2. But whoa, here comes Jackson Dart. So we got to go order the code red, take him out. I mean, seriously, how stupid are you if you actually think the Patriots did that? You actually think Mike Vrabel told his players to go and try to take out Jackson Dart? They know he doesn't slide. They watch film. They know the guy is going to be upright. And when he's in the field of play, he's no different than any other player carrying the football. And until Jackson Dart figures that out, Jackson Dart is going to be sent flying like he was. I mean, that was hysterical. That hit that sent him flying like Superman, the guy was literally parallel to the ground. He was parallel to the ground. Franchise quarterbacks understand that they're more valuable on the field than off the field, and they've got to protect themselves at all times. I don't know what Jackson Dart is trying to prove, besides he's just going to wind up on the IR more often than not. It's just part of my game. It's just the way that I play. Big hits are cool. That machismo stuff doesn't work in the NFL. Okay, it works in college. It doesn't work in the NFL because these are the biggest and fastest humans on the planet, and you can't go through multiple car wrecks every game and survive in the NFL. You just can't do it. So the idea that the Patriots and Mike Vrabel somehow decided that they were going to take out Gunnar Yashevsky, the punt returner, former Patriot, by the way, take him out too. Okay. You got to take him out. This Patriots team just smacks people, and they're playing with such an incredible level of confidence. They are flying around the football, and the 10-2 team looked like the 10-2 team, and the 2-10 team looked like the 2-10 team. And that's what you're supposed to do to bad teams. And that's the thing about the Patriots that got me to buy the 11-1 ticket last night on them to win the Super Bowl. I bought it because they're killing bad teams. I wasn't a fully believer in it until last night when I said, oh my gosh, they're going to get beat by a better team. They're not going to get beat by somebody in the first round that they shouldn't lose to. And the Patriots, if they have the 1 seed, and let's be honest, who got to look at all the gear, 1 or 2 seeds, that's what the Patriots' MO has been throughout their history. You get the 1 seed, you make everybody go through Foxborough, and it's very hard to win in New England in the weather. And the Patriots have a very strong track record. Mike Vrabel would know he's got 3 rings because of it. And so this team, the way they played last night, what they did to the Giants last night, That was as abusive of a football game that I have seen in quite some time, and I guarantee you the league took notice. It's not about Drake May throwing the deep ball. I get it. It's beautiful. It's a huge weapon, and Drake May is the MVP, okay? Right now, Drake May is the MVP. But I think Stafford still wins it. But the defense for me, the special teams for me, the fact that the Patriots were playing with 2 second string, a left tackle and a left guard, the whole left side of the line was backups. Your center was dealing with an illness last night. He wasn't 100%. And yet Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson had so many big holes. I don't know what happened and why the Giants benched their star rookie, Abdul Carter. Coach's decision. He missed a team meeting, whatever it might be. I mean, it's the guy's a substitute teacher, and Abdul Carter clearly doesn't respect the guy who's currently the head coach of the Giants. And so he gets benched. That worked well. By the time he played, it was 17-0, and the game was already over. But if you think the Patriots are going to try to take out your quarterback, the answer to that is yes. Because every team is trying to take out the other team's quarterback legally. And if you give the team the chance to do it, that's on your quarterback. Stop blaming the Patriots for this. Stop trying to blame Mike Vrabel for this. It's Jackson Dart's fault. Why did Jackson Dart get sent to the moon? Because Jackson Dart did what every quarterback is told to do, he wouldn't do. He just chose to try to stay upright and play the machismo mode. He wanted to be the tough guy. Why? I think there's something to the pretty boy line. I think the pretty boy line bothers him. I don't think he likes being called a pretty boy. I think that pisses people off. Or at least pisses him off. Because that's been kind of like the line for a while with him, right? Good looking dude. He's got he's wearing the chain. What's with the gold? What's with the diamonds? What's with that? Like, why are you wearing a chain during a football game? Like, okay. So anyways, but all of that, right? I think that bothers him. I think that actually genuinely bothers him. And so he got smacked. And I mean, there's 2 different angles to it. There's that angle where he's parallel to the ground, which I love. And then there's the angle in which you can see him clearly being in bounds when he gets hit. His foot is clearly in bounds. That is clearly a legal hit. He would have delivered the hit even if Jackson Dart was stepping out of bounds. How in the hell do you know that? Like, how in the hell, on what planet do you get to say something like that, saying that taking Jackson Dart out of the ball game was clearly communicated to his team before this game? Without any evidence, without any knowledge, nothing. That now it's Bountygate 2.0, that the Patriots all of a sudden are the Saints, that Mike Vrabel is putting out money saying, hey, anyone who takes out Jackson Dart, I'll get. You really think that's how this is going? I mean, wow. I know the Patriots being back is an absolute shit show for so many of you. Okay, I fully understand that having the Patriots being good again is not what you're comfortable with at all, because you have a 50-year-old head coach, a 23-year-old quarterback, and you've got, I think it's 9 draft picks. I think it's 9 draft picks that are available next year for the Patriots. I tweeted that out last night. Hold on, let me see what that number is. They have 11. Sorry, they have 11 picks in the draft next year, and they have the most cap space of any team going into next year. I mean, that is hard. That is hard to deal with. Okay, that is hard to put your mind around that, saying, "Oh my God, they're going to do it again." They're going to be back and they're going to be good. And you look at the Bills, you look at the Dolphins, and you look at the Jets, and you're like, holy shit, it's 2010 all over again. You have 3 teams that probably will be, I mean, the Jets most likely won't fire Aaron Glenn after year 1, but they'll probably fire him after year 2. You have to wonder about Buffalo, and Sean McDermott may not be there after this year. And look, let's be honest. If Mike McDaniel is the coach next year of the Dolphins, I think all of us will be stunned. if he's the coach in Miami. I mean, maybe, but it would be somewhat surprising if that guy's back. So you might have Mike Vrabel in year 2 with year 3 of Drake May with 3 new head coaches in the AFC. Probably not in New York, but second year Aaron Glenn. We're not worried about the Jets. No one's worried about. They're playing hard, but no one's really worried about the Jets. I mean, where are the Chiefs going to go? Because all they're going is down. I mean, is Andy Reid going to walk away? We know Travis Kelce's walking away. I mean, his fiance is singing about babies running around in a neighborhood. Like that's where he's going. He's retiring and he's going to go hang out with Taylor. So now Kelce's done. Andy Reid's not getting any younger. Could you see Andy Reid walking away? I could. It's possible. They came back for one more hurrah and it's over. Mahomes is there, obviously, but the offensive line's a mess. The division is much better. I mean, look at the Broncos aren't going anywhere with Sean Payton. He's not going anywhere. You got Jim Harbaugh, who's chomping at the bit for a championship and trying to get it with Justin Herbert. They're not going anywhere. And the Raiders are the Raiders, and they're just a joke. But it's going to be very interesting. Could you imagine, Ian Lights Out, Mahomes on another team? Could you imagine Patrick Mahomes? Nah, that ain't happening. Not until he's like 30s, like 35, 40, somewhere in that range, maybe. But I don't see Mahomes going anywhere. He's going to be with that franchise for a long time. Reid is not going out after a bad season. Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't he retire after a bad season? I mean, he's got nothing left to prove. What does Andy Reid have to prove? Nothing. Andy Reid's a first ballot Hall of Famer. 100% first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know. Eric, what's the Brady effect with the Raiders? Because so far the Brady effect with the Raiders has been awful. They're going to catch up. Not next year. Not according to Brady. Brady has said publicly they're going to burn to the ground. He said, if we have to burn it to the ground, we're going to burn it to the ground. So if they're going to do that, if they're going to burn to the ground, well, how bad are the Raiders going to be next year? They got 2 wins right now. Could they have 2 wins again? They have a horrible offensive line. They have no running game to speak of, but that's because of the line. They have no star wide receivers. They have a great tight end, 2 good tight ends, really. They have an aging quarterback who won't be here next year, and a defense that has 1 good player, like 1 really good stellar star all-pro player. And then everybody else is like, goodbye. It's like playing video poker and you get the ace, like just get rid of the other 4. Like that's what you have. You're getting rid of everyone else on defense. You're keeping Max Crosby and you're getting rid of everybody else for the Raiders. So next year, I'm not really high on the Raiders. This year was supposed to be the year where they were going to go for it. That's why they brought in Pete Carroll. That's why they signed Geno Smith. Okay. They kept Jacoby Myers. Like they thought they were going to go for it and be a 500 bubble wildcard team this year. They're going to tank. The quarterback class, not this year, but the quarterback class next in the 27 quarterback class is awesome. There's awesome players coming out in 27. Okay, quarterbacks this coming round, but next year in April of 27, that's where the Raiders, I think, really will target their franchise quarterback. I think the Raiders are going to look to tank next year. I don't think they're going to be competitive next year. And frankly, Pete Carroll might be the scapegoat and just say, hey, Pete, you're going to ride it to the bottom and we're just going to, keep you around if you want to coach. I mean, Pete's coaching with his 2 sons and he gave the reins to the offense to Chip Kelly, paid him the most money of any coordinator in the NFL because Pete wanted to focus on the defense and wanted to go have some fun with his kids. And it's been an absolute disaster, right? But what does he care? He's coaching with his sons. That's what he wanted to do. So the Raiders gave him that chance to do it. But the Tom Brady effect, I mean, Brady's the one that hired Pete Carroll. Tom's the one that brought in Chip Kelly. Tom's the one that, greenlit the offense and greenlit paying Chip Kelly. So I love Tom. I love Brady, but Tom Brady, the executive, is starting to look a lot like Michael Jordan as the head coach of the Charlotte Bobcats. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. And so far, it hasn't worked. Ooh, you want Chip Kelly back at Ohio State? Not bad. I mean, the rumor is Chip Kelly is going to be the head coach of somewhere in college, right? Shoot. Which job was he being rumored? Oh, Kentucky. The rumor was Kentucky, that he was going to be the head coach of Kentucky, which I don't hate that for Chip Kelly, to go to a place like Kentucky with resources, with money, that he could go ahead and do that. So let's see. Kevin says Tom just needs to stay in the booth and ditch the ownership side of things. I don't think that's horrible. I don't think that's a horrible thought. I mean, Brady, look at, for all the heat that Tom Brady took in his first year as being a broadcaster, all the jokes about his forehead and his eyebrows and his tan and everything else, and the fact that he just wasn't that good of a broadcaster, he has become a very good broadcaster. Now, he's not as good as Greg Olson. I'm still a Troy Aikman fan from a delivery standpoint. I think Troy is really good at the way he presents from an audio standpoint and the way he speaks with Joe Buck. I know there's people who, if they're watching the show, I had a conversation last night about how much one person I know hates Troy Aikman as a broadcaster and thinks that he's absolutely crazy. And he says all sorts of nonsense that sounds intelligent, but actually is not intelligent. But just from a broadcasting standpoint, I am a fan of Troy Aikman. Tom has become good. I mean, I would put him in the good category as a broadcaster. And that is not something I would have said last year. And so where Tony Romo has really gone downhill since his first year, Tom Brady in year 2, at least, has been much better of a listen and much better of a broadcaster for Fox than he was in year number 1. Year 1 was not great. Year 1 was not great. Year 2 going on. Oh, Kentucky already hired they already hired a coach. Okay. So that's not happening. Okay. I haven't followed the coaching carousel. They hired Oregon's. Thank you. They hired Oregon's OC. Okay. So not there. A lot of people don't like Romo. Romo had really gone downhill, like fast. I think people, the Greg Olson love, if I'm Fox, I think you have to pay attention to how many people really like Greg Olson. They really like Greg Olson. And it's hard to argue that they really like Greg Olson. All right. Speaking of college, Yahoo Sports did this morning. I thought was pretty wild, because I have long talked about the need to get rid of the preseason polls, that they don't mean anything anymore in the era of the college football playoff and the era of the transfer portal and the NIL world, that we'd have no idea how these teams are going to gel and how these teams are going to perform with so much change and so much turmoil on top of the head coaches moving and changing. Yahoo Sports went back. Did I freeze? Yep, I froze. Sorry about that. This is the preseason poll. AP poll. Let's count the number of teams who were ranked and are now in the preseason who are no longer ranked. Penn State was number 2. They are unranked. Clemson was number 4. They are unranked. LSU was number 9. They are unranked. 3 of the top 10. Forget just moving down, right? Like, oh, they were good, but they weren't actually good. Okay. They were good, but they just weren't like, how you'd expect. Like, I don't know, a team like take Miami or Michigan. Yeah, take Michigan. Okay. So Michigan was 14th in the AP preseason. They're 18th now. So they didn't have as good of a year, but they were still ranked. They still were competitive. Penn State, Clemson, and LSU were all top 10 teams preseason. None of them are ranked going to the championship weekend. Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Florida, SMU, Kansas State, Iowa State, Tennessee, and Boise State were all ranked preseason. And they are not ranked now. They are not ranked now. It gets even worse when you start looking at teams, guys that moved up. Indiana was 20th in the preseason. They are 2 now. They're 2nd. Texas Tech was 23rd preseason. They're 5th. They're a top 5 team now. Now, there were some that the AP poll got right. Georgia, obviously. Ohio State, obviously. Oregon, obviously. Notre Dame, yes. Alabama, about. but the misses are so bad. We don't need this. The preseason poll, we don't need the AP poll anymore. We don't need any poll anymore, to be quite honest. It doesn't give us anything, but I get it. You want to argue, but it skews people's minds. From a betting standpoint, I think it would help the public if we got rid of those little numbers. The books don't want that, by the way. The books love those little numbers. The books love that. Ranked team that's a short favorite or a dog. The public gets all enamored about the AP poll, and they get all enamored about those little numbers where somebody must know something somewhere that, that team is ranked and that team is not. It happens in college basketball a ton and has happened in college basketball for years. But the difference with college basketball and college football is that now we have a playoff, the 12-team playoff. The polls, people don't really get all up in arms when it comes to the college basketball preseason poll, because they're going to play a million games and we're going to figure out who's good and who's not. Well, football's not like that. Now, we play a bunch of games, but we're not playing, 30, 35 regular season games like we do in college basketball. So that, I think, in college football, I don't think we should have a preseason poll. I think the AP poll should come out on October the 1st. I think we should wait for a month before we rank anybody, before we give anybody the distinction of the number 1 team in the country or the number 5 team in the country. It's just pointless. It doesn't help. It doesn't make anybody, smarter. And it just becomes fodder for talk shows. And frankly, it, again, blinds bettors. People who are gambling, they go, oh, somebody must know something. No, that ranking, that someone who watches that team, someone whose job it is to watch football, who gets a ranking, gets a job to rank different teams. They must know something, right? How often do we see a ranked team be a dog, and yet at the end of the game, they're calling it an upset, right? Like the 20th ranked team in the country is a 3-point road dog to whoever is unranked, and the unranked team wins, and it's upset alert. Really? That's upset alert? Like, gamblers know. Well, the home team was favored. That team was supposed to, like, what are we talking about? Upset alert. Like, wait, what? And then you get the a top 10 team, a team that's ranked 10th on the road against a team that's ranked like 20th or 22nd, right? And the 22nd team wins. And the fans rush to the field. They beat a top 10 team. Yay. Well, really? I mean, how big of a difference was there between the two teams? It wasn't that large. So get rid of it. Don't need it. Let's talk conference championship games. Let's start with the Mountain West Conference Championship game. We haven't had time to dig down deep into this because, one, it's the Mountain West Conference, but two, there's been a lot of NFL. Did you guys follow how the Mountain West Conference determined this game? There were 4 teams tied at the top of the conference. UNLV has been red hot. Boise is Boise, but they went to the computer rankings, like the old BCS, to determine that Boise was the 1 seed and that UNLV was going to be the 2 seed. Now, Boise beat UNLV badly earlier this year. And so now we return to the scene of the crime, but this time it's in freaking December. UNLV, a team from the desert in Nevada, a dome team, has to go on the road to Boise, Idaho, to the Smurf turf in like 15-degree weather to go play the Mountain West Conference Championship game. I can't believe this number is only 4. I can't believe all the money's coming on UNLV. This number opened up at 5.5. All the money is coming in on UNLV. The pros are taking the dog. They're taking the dog. Like, wait, what? Like, I don't understand. This was a really bad break for UNLV. To have this go into a computer poll, to have this go into a computer ranking, to have this game be selected. It's the best game. Okay. UNLV, Boise State for the Mountain West Conference Championship. It's the best game. It's the 2 best teams. And it's a big shot for Dan Mullen to go and win something that that Barry Odom could not do. But we've seen this now for 4 straight years where it's Boise State and UNLV. And yeah, this is Boise. I would be very surprised if Boise doesn't win and doesn't cover strictly. Yes, this was the exact same matchup last year. Yes, and it was a blowout win for Boise. Yeah, this is not good. We have seen this game before. Different players, different people. Yeah, great. 45 and raining. Great. That's even worse, Whitrock. I'd rather it be 30 and snowing than 45 and raining. Remember, this is these kids are from Nevada. We don't see rain. We don't play in rain. They play indoors on top of that. You can't even practice outdoors in the rain. Even worse. That's worse weather for UNLV in this game to have to go and play in the rain, the cold rain in Boise, Idaho in December. Yee. Big 12 title game is BYU against Texas Tech. This is the biggest number of all the big games, 12.5. Here's the question. Is BYU going to lose their coach to Penn State? Because that's the big rumor into this game. And you want to talk about distractions. That's a big damn distraction. Okay. You're going to lose your coach who's been there forever to Penn State. If that is going to happen, if that rumor is true, Texas Tech, big. I like BYU. I like BYU in Provo. I don't like BYU in Texas at Jerry's World. Even though the speed of the turf helps BYU, it helps Texas Tech more. Texas Tech, I don't know if I'm laying a number, a 12.5, but I do expect Texas Tech to win this game relatively easily up against BYU. The SEC title game is Alabama against Georgia. I do have a betting interest in this game. I have a plus 325 bet on Georgia to win the SEC, taken in August. Here's my worry. Kirby Smart can't beat Alabama. He already lost to Bama this year at home. And now he's 2.5 point favorites in Atlanta for the SEC title game. Is Alabama capable of doing it twice? Can they go beat Georgia 2 times in the same year? Can Kellen DeBoer keep this domination for Alabama up against Georgia going? I want this number to climb. If it gets to 3 or 3.5, from a money line perspective, I hope it crosses 3. Go as high as possible. Hammer Georgia, because then I can come back and guarantee that I'm not going to lose any money on this. And so if Georgia wins, that's great. I'll win, 3.25 units. I'll give a unit back, but how much do I have to lay to get the 1 unit back? Okay. So like plus 130, plus 140 on Alabama would be ideal. I would love if I get that price on the Tide. I'll take the Tide pregame and then I'll just kick it back and, say, okay, either it's nothing or it's something, or I can bet a little heavier, on Alabama, put 1.5 units down on Alabama at plus 140 and win regardless and win a couple of units either way, no matter who wins. So I haven't determined what I'm going to do yet because I want to see what direction the number goes. But Kirby Smart in Atlanta has been really good. Kirby Smart in the SEC championship game has been really good. But it is Alabama and it's Bama in Georgia. I guarantee you Georgia was rooting for Texas A&M to beat Texas to get into this game. Like they were. Well, no, that would have been bad. Sorry. They wanted Auburn to beat Alabama. That's what they wanted. Because if A&M had won, Georgia would have been out. So no, let me correct myself. That's not what they wanted. They wanted Alabama to lose to Auburn. That's what they wanted. Because that would have kept Alabama out and it would have been A&M versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. Instead, it's Alabama and Georgia going in. So with the ticket, give me 325. The ACC title game is such a joke. It's not even worth talking about. Miami's not in this game. Miami, tiebreaker wise, is not in this game. That's all we need to do with the ACC. If you're betting this game, tip of the cat to you. I would say take Virginia, but I have no idea. Miami might not make the playoffs because of their tiebreaker situation. That's hysterically funny. Like, that's funny. And everybody's politicking. Everyone's saying, oh, you're this and oh, you're that. I love coaches politicking in the press. And then finally, Big Ten title game, Indiana and Ohio State. This is just take the Hoosiers, right? Like, this is 4.5. 4.5. This is heavy. I know Ohio State's Ohio State, but this is heavy. I'm surprised at this. I like Indiana. Now, I'm not sure Indiana wins the game, but Indiana to lose by 3, give me the points. I mean, I want the points. 100% I want the points. Indiana plus 4.5 against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. This is the best game of the week. We're talking about Bama, Georgia's good. This is the game of the week. It doesn't mean anything for the playoffs. Both these teams are in. This is, 1, 2, or 3 seeds. Like they know where they are. But this is just in case we see you again. Let's play for a Big Ten title, because this could be a preview of the national championship game. Depending on how the bracket shakes out, depending on how the games go, this could be a preview of the national championship game. We might see this 2 times in a month, Indiana and Ohio State. But I'll take Indiana plus the points here for that one. But I'm going to, Ohio State would come out like the Pats did last night. There's a big difference. Indiana is a hell of a lot tougher than the Giants are. That's the difference. Whether or not Ohio State comes out like the Patriots to smack people, have you seen Indiana's defensive line? Whose quarterback do you like better? It's a big debate. I think people sleep on the talent level of Indiana. Just saying. And I'm to blame for that at times too. But this team, I'm not sleeping on this team. I'm not sleeping on this team. Everyone's going to run to the window and bet Ohio State. Go ahead. The number's coming down for a reason. If you guys are with us live, we're going to talk about Thursday night football on the other side, Detroit and the Cowboys. We'll get to my favorite thing about today and the news of the industry as well, all in bonus time. If you're on Sports Grid watching on the replay, you can come over to our YouTube channel to watch the rest of the show at Boston versus the Book. If you guys are live, don't move. Bonus time. First time we froze right before bonus time. I don't know what's going on. Like it's all StreamYard, because it's not the internet. It was freezing when I was in New Hampshire. It was doing that, so it was freezing a lot more than I wanted it to in New Hampshire. So we talked so much about the internet being great and everything else, and it's like it's not nearly as good. What did I just see? Someone just puts. Okay, they're not going to flex it. Patriots and the Bills on December 14th will remain at 1 p.m. It will not. That game will not get flexed. Wow, that's surprising. I thought they would flex that game to the night game. I mean, it's de facto AFC East title game, but maybe they don't think it's gonna be that good of a game, huh? Yeah, second freeze. Yep, it was number 2. That was the second one. Let's go Indiana versus the Giants. Fun game. That'll be fun to see what happens with that. All right, Thursday night football, Dallas against the Lions. If you can find 3.5, take the Cowboys now. If you can find it. You got to find it, but if you can find it, take the Cowboys now. Here's why. It's Dak Prescott in primetime. Dak Prescott in primetime is absolutely a bet on. Okay. And I know you're going to say, just bet the over. That's fine. Okay. Dallas is 10-2 to their team total over, which is the best mark in the NFL so far this season. They're 8-4 to the over this year, which is the best mark in the NFL. And they're playing, at Coors Field, essentially. They're playing at the Coors Field, the NFL, Ford Field. But Dallas is 5-1 against the spread as an underdog this year. They are 3.5 or 3-point dogs to the Lions. And so both these teams played on Thanksgiving, and now they're playing on Thursday night, 1 week later. This is the first time they have ever played the week after Thanksgiving. Detroit and Dallas have never faced each other after playing on Thanksgiving. The Action Network and Evan Abrams will do a lot more with his primer tomorrow on the show. But after the Thanksgiving game, coming up for the Lions, Detroit has won 5 straight games after Thanksgiving, going 4-0-1 against the number in those games. But since 2005, the Lions are 7-13 straight up and 10-9-1 against the number after Thanksgiving. So historically, not been great. Recently, under Dan Campbell, been very good. Last 20 years for Dallas, they're 13-8 straight up after Thanksgiving. And they lost to the Bengals last year, but they have won 8 of their last 11 games straight up after Thanksgiving. We know all about the Jared Goff and Dan Campbell after a loss narrative, okay? But that hasn't been the case this year. They've already lost back-to-back games so far this year. That snapped that 13-game streak, so you can kind of toss that out a little bit here. Any hangover for the Chiefs from the Chief games? For the last 2 seasons, teams listed as an underdog after facing the Chiefs are 1-13 straight up and 5-9 against the number. Okay. So, but Dak has been very good. Since the start of 2022, Dak Prescott has started 9 games in the early week spot before Sunday, Thursday or Friday. The Cowboys are 8-1 straight up in those games after beating the Chiefs on Thursday last week. They're winning that game by an average of 8.2 points. Okay. Dak in primetime. Dak in primetime has been absolute money. I like +3.5. You can take the 3, but I'd prefer to take the 3.5. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here for Dallas, because if they win this game and the Eagles playing on Monday night against the Chargers, and that's not a guaranteed W, if the Eagles were to lose that game, all of a sudden the ticket that I have 7-1 on the Cowboys to win the division is very live. They will have beaten both teams in the Super Bowl and then the Lions at Detroit. It also puts Detroit into a really big pickle for the postseason. So I'm not saying the Lions don't need this game, because the Lions need this game. Why? Because CBW is exactly right. It is almost an elimination game. Yes, it's almost an elimination game. And it's not a short week. Yep, they have a full week of rest and preparation. So let's see what happens. But I like, you get the hook. This morning at the South Point, you could get 3.5. How many other books across the country? I'm not really sure, but I know Chris and company, they had 3.5. So if you can jump on Dallas +3.5, I think you take Dallas +3.5. It's 3. It's not bad, but I think there's going to be a big potential for a push there. I think the Lions winning by 3 is very, very possible. Let's make some picks. Time for Does the Picks, being brought to you by the Betting Pros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. Go and check it out on Betting Pros, the Betting Pros app, or by going to bettingpros.com/props. I am going with all overs tonight. There's a big game in the NBA. Celtics play the first game of this, and I thought about taking the Celtics here tonight, but I instead took the over 221.5 for Golden State and the unbelievable OKC Thunder, who are 20-1 straight up. They are 10-1 on the road. And oh, that's a riot. Is that true? Oh, this just broke. Oh, if it can't get more embarrassing for the Giants. It's being reported that after Brian Daboll got fired, the Giants reached out to Patriot offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels to see if he would leave the Patriots in the middle of the year to go coach the Giants. He supposedly answered at the press conference today, quote, "I respect that offer, but my heart belongs to New England, and we are rebuilding something special, and I want to be here when the Patriots return to where they truly belong, because loyalty to me isn't about comfort, it's about purpose." I'm not sure that's right. Okay, I'm hoping that quote's real. Let me see. Is that so? I'm looking at one of these like fake sites. I'm not sure that's real. So I'm glad that do some digging on that. That looks like a fake internet story. I don't know if that's real. I'm going to call that fake at the moment. I can't find that on Twitter. I just saw that on one of those like sports sites that you don't really trust, that looks a little bit funky. I'm going to say that's fake. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I'm going to say that's fake until I see it somewhere else. If you guys see that story somewhere else, let me know. But I after firing Daboll, the Giants reached out to, I mean, that would be one thing. Like, that would be stunning if they did that. It would be even more stunning that quote coming from Josh McDaniels would be even more stunning if he actually said that. Not sure he actually said that. Anyways, back to this game. Let's talk OKC and the Warriors. So this has been an interesting couple of weeks for the Warriors. They have no Steph Curry. So without Steph, clearly this team is not the same. And there's a little bit of a question about Jimmy Butler tonight as to whether he's going to, but the total is up to 223.5. I got 221.5 last night. So we're on the pro side, at least, as to what they're betting. 6-5 to the over on the road for OKC. 5-4 to the under for the Warriors. Their last two games have gone under against New Orleans and against Houston, but that's mostly because of who they're playing with New Orleans and Houston. When they played Portland and Utah, teams that can get up and down, the games went over by 11.5 and 13.5. And if you look at it just from a numbers perspective at 223.5 even, now this is still a very low total for the Thunder. They've gone against Phoenix, it was 223.5. But generally speaking, their games are somewhere between 228 and 234. So this is still a little bit under. 225.5. I bet over on the Warriors and the Thunder. I still would 223.5 is not bad. From a hockey perspective, you can bet first period over in this game if you want. Vancouver has been very good to a first period over. You can bet gift as well. Both Colorado and Vancouver recently have been decent to a goal in the first 10 minutes here, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the over. These teams played about 2 weeks ago to a 5-4 final, and I think Vancouver, they're the second best team on the road to overs so far in the NHL. And I just think Colorado's offense is explosive. They're 10-0-2 at home. They have not lost a game in regulation yet. The Avalanche at home. I think the Avalanche win, but the price is getting a bit obnoxious. Let's go Vancouver, Colorado over 6.5 goals. Don't like the goalie matchup from stopping a puck perspective. Both teams score, both goalies give up goals. Let's go over 6.5 for the game. You can bet first period over too, though, for Vancouver and Colorado if you want. And there's a bunch of big college basketball games. I have been so cold in college basketball, but I'm not the only one. College basketball has been an absolute crapshoot. It is so difficult to predict what is going to happen game in and game out. We have seen there's only one team ranked in the top 25 right now in the AP poll for college basketball. Excuse me. That is not a Power 4 conference member. Like, there's no Cinderellas. There is no Gonzaga's the only one that can fit into that mold. Everybody else is from one of the big power conferences. I guess Power 5, you include Big East. So it's difficult to see these upsets. It's difficult to see. So when we have these games, when North Carolina is in action against Kentucky, Duke's in action against Florida, Kansas is in action against UConn, 3 big games here tonight in college basketball. They're not bets for me. They're just watch. I want to watch. I'm excited to watch, but I'm not in love with the idea that these are easy games to bet. College basketball is tough. So I'm taking the over for Florida and Duke. I think we'll see offense. I think we'll see up and down. I like the bigs for Florida. I like the Duke guards. I like the 3-point shooting for Duke. I don't love 3-point shooting for Florida, but I like their offensive rebounding and their ability to not dominate the paint, but I think that they'll control the paint tonight. I like the over 156.5. That number is currently, let me see where that number is currently at for this one. We're at 155.5. So they bet the under. So I'm on the opposite side here. It's going down. I have 156.5. It's at 155.5 here for that for Duke. So I like over in OKC and the Warriors. I like over for Vancouver and Colorado of 6.5. And I like over for Florida and Duke coming up here for tonight. So let's see what happens with that. Let's talk news of the industry. News of the industry. This is more like an attaboy and a congratulations. We kind of knew this. We talked about it yesterday about what Missouri was going to look like, but congratulations, Missouri. That's one day. Matching deposits, free bets, and NFL excitement. The Show Me State joins legal betting fray Monday to a projected $425 million day at open for Missouri. Hello. Now, a lot of that is fake, right? A lot of that is bluff money. A lot of that is free money. A lot of that is bonus money. It's not real, but it does show you about the number of accounts that have been opened. It does show you about the overall interest in sports gambling, and kind of what I said a couple of months ago about Missouri, that there are certain states that people don't realize that are completely gaga for sports. And Missouri is one of those states that is completely betting. Now, if you look at both sides of the state, either side, you have KC on one, you have St. Louis on the other. Huge states, huge mafia states, underground, local bookies, awesome handle every day. Okay. So many people, so many local guys, so many bookies in St. Louis and in KC. Then you have Columbia in the middle, massive college town, prime sports betting. I mean, 21, 22, 23-year-olds, sports crazed, college basketball, college football, NFL, baseball crazed. You have the Royals and you have the Cardinals. You have two very diehard baseball fan bases, right? One that's good consistently, one that's bad, but they're diehard. Royal fans are diehard. So you got baseball to take you through the summer. You have the Chiefs, which really take over the whole state. The St. Louis football market has never really, I mean, the Rams were there. It didn't work, obviously, but people in St. Louis love the NFL still. They still bet the NFL a lot. And they bet the Chiefs, obviously, because it's, quasi in their state. So you got all that going on. You've got basketball, college basketball nutcases. Missouri, Kansas State. You got a ton of SEC and Big 12 fans for college basketball in that region. They run the Big 12 championship tournament out of Kansas City, like tons of college basketball. The NBA doesn't do very well. The NHL doesn't do very well, but most other sports extremely well. Missouri is going to crush it. Missouri is going to be an absolute awesome state for sports gambling. Just absolute huge numbers, huge state, like Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, like those three states, I expect to continue to do huge numbers, huge handle, just given the teams in those states, given the makeup of the people in those states, and the fact that they've been betting forever anyway. So yeah, the Blues. Thank you. Forgot about the Blues. Thank you. Forgot about that. That's my bad. It's KC's been trying to get a team to go to the Sprint Center they built the Sprint Center for an NHL team. And then that didn't happen. And then they couldn't get an NHL team to move there. So I forgot about the Blues. Sorry. Scott Trade Center. Forgot about that. So, or what are they? No, it's not Scott Trade Center now. What is it now? It used to be called Scott Trade Center. When I went there for Arch Madness, it was the Scott Trade Center. But yes, the Blues draw. So excuse me. I'm sorry. So you have hockey with the Blues. I think Circa might be doing a deal with the Blues. They already have the Blackhawks and they have the Vegas Golden Knights. Wouldn't stun me if Circa did a deal with the Blues as well for that. But so sorry. Yes, the Blues are a draw for sure. So you have Missouri's an awesome state to be on the board, to be the 39th state. Huge. Absolutely, completely, and totally huge for that. Yeah, so let's see. I was just reading this article for a second ago, looking for the numbers. Wow. So Maryland, when Maryland's mobile, going back to Maryland's launch in November of 21, Maryland mobile operators had 134 million in the first 39 days. That's wild. So give you an idea of where Missouri's going with 425. Pretty good. That's pretty good for Missouri with that. Question from Instagram that we'll get to. This is interesting. I have a Mendoza saying in love Heisman ticket. Should I be worried about Diego Pavia? No, I don't think you should be worried about Diego Pavia. You have 3 tickets on those 3 players. One of those 3 guys are winning the Heisman. Mendoza, Justin saying, Love gets an invite. I'm just to hey, you got to have a non-quarterback there, so bring a running back in. It's a 2-team race. Yeah. Spoken like a true Nebraskan, I would love if Coach Osborne stopped being a sports betting terrorist in the Big Red State. That's an inside joke, Brooke. Only you and I. I'm guessing only you and me and the whole brigade actually get that joke. Understand what Coach Osborne has done for sports gambling in Nebraska. The guy literally thinks it's the end of the world. He thinks that sports gambling isn't. No, I think the vote's already been cast, Roger, for the Heisman. I think voting. Check and see when the ballots are due. I don't think you can submit your ballot after the game on Saturday. I think you got to submit your ballot this week. It's regular season. It's not postseason. So I don't think this weekend matters. It should. I've said the Heisman Trophy should be awarded after the season, after the playoffs. The Heisman, your playoff run should matter for the Heisman. Oh, voting's after the title game. You're sure? They changed it. Okay. That's smart. But it's not after the championship playoffs, though, right? Just after the title game. So it's after this week. So then, yes, this week, then absolutely this will decide it. Saturday will decide the Heisman Trophy, 100%, if they changed it for that. So that's good. They should do that. That's how it should be. But again, I would like it after the postseason, after the playoffs. You know, if somebody has a crazy playoff run, what did you do in the biggest games of the year? You know, you were all worldly, and yet you had a bad game or two in September. You know, okay, ballots in by Tuesday. Thank you, CBW. Appreciate that. Okay, Heisman ballot ends on December 8th. Ballots are distributed on December 1st. Yesterday, finalists will be announced the same day voting deadline passes, December the 8th. So you can vote earlier. So that means you can vote if you wanted to. If you wanted to vote before the game, you shouldn't. But if you wanted to, you could. Good job, Mikey. Thank you. Appreciate you for doing that. Let's talk favorite thing about today. Favorite thing about today for me, as we wrap the show for Tuesday, what you guys have done so far with the store. The fact that, in 3 days, we've sold out of half of the Dave collection merchandise is phenomenal. Again, if you guys haven't gone to the store, check it out, thebvbshow.com to shop right now. The 150 items were almost half sold out. We're close to it being half sold out. So if you do want to get a hat, t-shirt, or hoodie that says always forward, never straight from the Dave collection, once those are gone, they'll be gone. So 150 of those are available. If you just want a plain BBB hat, t-shirt, bucket hat, beanie, golf shirt, all those things are all available. You can order them now. But if you want the Dave collection, we are doing that right now. We're selling those right now. And once those are gone, they will be gone. We'll do another couple of special things, anniversary type stuff. And it won't be the last time you'll be able to buy something with Dave's sayings on there. But that money, whenever there's anything going on that has a Dave saying on it, that money is not going to go to me, not going to go to Corbin, not going to go to anybody except the Sherapan family. Like that is, I want to be as respectful as possible to those sayings. Those are Dave's. Those are not anyone else's. So nobody else should be making any money off that. So we're going to do that. I know people want it. So we thought it was a great way of stepping in for what Dave used to do with his daughters at Christmas. He would give his kids cash. So we're going to give them cash from us in the brigade to step in this year for Christmas. And we'll see. I'll give you the full rundown of how much money we're giving them once we're sold out, once we're there. But we are nearly 50% sold out. So if you are going to get it, do so, I would say this week. If not today, next couple of days, do so to jump in to be a part of it for that. So BVB, thebvbshow.com to get to the store. There's a link right on the front page of the website, thebvbshow.com. We are back tomorrow on a Wednesday. I'm pretty confident that Adam Bjorn will be with us on Thursday of this week to break down week 15 of the NFL. Huge game on Thursday for the Lions and the Cowboys. Looking forward to talking to him for that. Tomorrow we'll get further into week 15 of the NFL, or week 14, right? Week 14 of the NFL. From a betting perspective, there's a bunch of really big games and some fun betting opportunities to get into. Packers, Bears, Cowboys, Lions, and more coming at you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for a Wednesday's BVB.